Hey everyone, this is Nick Rogers from the Inclusive AI, and one of my team members just sent me the link to a conversation that is happening online. It happens to be in LinkedIn, and my team members really wanted me to sort of chime in on this because as we were all talking inside of the company, we all have a sort of different perspectives on this topic. So I want to sort of chime in on it because I thought that what the original poster wrote was just kind of wild to me, just as a business owner, as someone who has started multiple businesses in their career, who has worked for different businesses. I really enjoy working with startups and small business. I think that's what that hustle is. That's where the real work is. And so, just as someone who has worked in all those spaces, I thought that what the original poster posted was wild to me. And so, I'm going to read you what she wrote. And she wrote, there's an image, and the image says every job should pay a livable wage. And then she wrote, I will never stop saying this. Working overtime or multiple jobs is not a flex. Not everyone can or wants to work a second job or have a side hustle. No, I don't want to monetize my passions to afford to eat. If I am working 40 hours a week, that should be more than enough to pay bills, save and live a life. Yes, even folks working at fast food or other service jobs deserve a living wage. No, those $20 fast food wages aren't the reason why the cost of your burger went up. It's corporate greed. To business owners, if you can't afford to pay your employees a living wage, you shouldn't be in business. First of all, I love her all day for starting this conversation. I absolutely love it. And and then just with all the due respects, all with all the due respects, I am just absolutely floored that somebody would write that. I am absolutely I'm in another I'm just I'm speechless. And for me, I don't get speechless. I have something to say about everything. That is wild to me. That's wild to me. Um, First of all, let's talk numbers because I don't like to come to the party. I don't like to come to the party without numbers. So let's talk numbers. There are 33.2 million small businesses just in the USA. We're just talking about the USA. We didn't even hit on the world, which combined account for 99.9% of all US businesses. I'm going to make sure I put that on the screen. Let me just run that again. There are 33.2 million small businesses in America, which combined account for 99.9% of all US businesses. What are we saying here? You know, there's a huge difference between corporations, large corporations who can um who have the backing, who have the financial backing, and who can afford to pay you to pay you well, and they should be paying you well. That there's a huge difference between that and a small business who that just started, who doesn't have that funding source. A small business that is trying to figure out how to make it, how to how to compete with the bigger corporations and all their funding. All there's a huge gap, right? It feels like we're lumping everyone in. We're lump we're we decided if you own a company, well then you need to figure out how to come up with the money. That's wow. That's a different level. That's a different level. You know how many small businesses wouldn't even be? You know how many small businesses that started as small businesses that are now major corporations wouldn't even be if that was the mindset? Nobody's and let me just be clear, nobody is saying if a business or a corporation can afford to pay you a living wage or better, because you just don't want to get by, right? You want to be paid well. If they can afford to do that, they very well should be doing that. But a new company that is just start up, a small mom and pop that is, barely making ends meet, if they can't pay you what you want to, if their employees, if they can't pay their employees a living wage, then they need to not exist. So in other words, let's think this through. In other words, that just leaves us to the mercy of all major corporations. That's not what I want. That's not what I want, because major corporations have a history of not treating us well. So you need small businesses to drive innovation. You need small businesses to make sure that you have an alternative to big corporations. Without that, you are at the mercy of a major corporation. And all the times, their credit line doesn't allow for them to pay you that living wage. They may be only to pay you so much for so many hours of work. And they have to do that until they can get in a better place. Starting a business doesn't mean that you're an overnight sensation. I promise you, I wish that was the case. And how the banking industry is with women in particular, with women, with small businesses that are just, sort of getting going, no matter how great their idea is. And, veterans are not getting a fair shake. And then Black and brown people, they almost should not even bother going to ask for credit lines, right? And you are saying all of those people should be wiped off the board? I don't know. I feel like I know what you're trying to say, but I think that I'm so taken aback that you could possibly be saying that you just want to be left with all major corporations because they are the ones that can pay you the way you want to be paid. I can't wrap my head around that. That's diabolical to me. Now, if you have a choice, you can go work for that company, especially if there's a startup. I love working with startups. I love it. I love working with startups because that's where that hustle is. I often, and this is my preference, and because I'm in a position where I can do this. I may or may not take a payment up front. I may ask for something else. So we may barter for something else. Or we may trade for something else. There's an array of possibilities. If a company contracts with me, I start doing work with them, they run into trouble. If I think that the product is good, they've got a good layout, and I see that they are like trying to head in the right direction, I might say, go ahead and pause any payments that you owe me. Let's get the company where it need to be, and then you can catch me up later. And it very well may be that the company is not ever in a place to do that, and they may fold. That's the nature of small business. That's the nature of a startup. But everybody's not in that position to do that. If my circumstances change and I'm not in a position to do that, then I won't be able to take on those type of opportunities. You always have the option to say, you know what, that's not right for me. Because my situation, my circumstances do not allow me to do that. But to say all companies, big and small, new or old, should be all held to the same standard for everyone that doesn't even need that standard, I can't agree with that.